What's going on, y'all? What's happening? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm on here a little, well, not a little. I'm on here very early today. I'm on here early because I just been up for a little minute. My son might wake up in a minute. He been asleep for a little while, so he might walk up in here in the middle of me doing this live stream. But I don't know. I feel like I want to talk right now. It might not be the time to talk because everybody still may be sleeping. And if so, I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna just come back on later and address this topic. But yeah, man, I got two people on. What's going on, y'all? What's the word? Y'all hit the like button for me as y'all come in, and we can talk. Y'all can talk to me in the chat too until I build up a big enough audience to start addressing the topic. Um, Chris, what's going? Oh man, that's Chris. What's the word, bro? How you feeling, boss? Good to see you. Oh, it's early. Where you at, man? I'm surprised you up. It's about 6 a.m. out. Yeah, almost 7 in the morning. Where you at? I'm shocked you on here so early. I got 9 people on. Wow, I'm surprised. What's up, y'all? Happy Saturday. Hope everybody doing well. Hope everybody feeling good. I'm off work today, so uh we're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna I'm gonna try to get a lot of content done today as well. 13 people on. You say better go to the barbershop. Man, I'm going to the barbershop later on today, bro. It's funny you said I'm going later on today. So, Sean, what's up with you, man? How you feeling? Good to see you in here, man. Uh, like I say, my son, he in the room sleep. He been asleep for a minute, but he probably might wake up in a few. Come walking up in here, and y'all know I'm still gonna navigate within my son coming up in here. I'm just letting y'all know. But yeah, man. So since LeBron James has had this back and forth with Stephen A. Smith, and he's expressed certain sentiments regarding Stephen A. Smith on Pat McAfee's platform. On who else's platform did he say that? Oh, he has Steve Nash on the second season of Mind the Game podcast. Uh, there are murmurs and whispers about people accusing LeBron James of not being pro-black because he's he had not a crazy, but yeah, he did. He had a mega sit down interview with a non-black podcaster. And then he did the Travis Kelsey, he did the Kelsey Brothers podcast before that. And you got people saying, hold on, my bad, y'all. Full of Southern Charm, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday, happy Saturday. I'm up early. I'm usually not even up this early. So when I am up this early, I'm lying. But when I'm working, I try because I'm just started working a couple of weeks ago. I'm usually sleep. I'm usually super sleep right now, but I'm up and I've been up for a little while. I don't know why. But yeah, Aaron, what's going on? Aaron Ford, what's the word? You up, man? I'm you all good, man. I'm up early, super early. So I know this is much earlier than y'all ever usually see me on here. But I don't know. I just felt compelled to get on here at this time. Um, my son getting ready to go with my mom's in a few hours, so I'm gonna get him up in a minute and start getting him ready. Uh, but yeah, though, and then yeah, so yeah, we finna talk about it. So you got people like LeBron James, he's not doing any black podcaster shows. He got Steve Nash, another white guy, on Mind the Game podcast after he already had a white guy on the season previously, which is now his head coach, JJ Redick. So you got people saying he really not pro-black like that. Yada yada yada. Um Dreamers Pro, y'all know Dreamers Pro. He been posting and shouting it to the heavens that LeBron James is not pro-black like everybody thinks he is. Let me just say this. I've addressed this previously. The blackest thing, the most pro-black thing a wealthy black man can do is to marry a black woman and keep black generational wealth within the black community and to have black kids with that black woman. Okay. Um, so That's the most pro-black thing I think you could do as a wealthy black man. So Ticket and Dreamers Pro have something in common. Those men, first of all, Ticket, I think, is with a Hispanic woman. All right. So I think he takes exception to the fact that people always give LeBron kudos and credit for being with a black woman. Okay. Ticket is a Kobe Bryant super fan, the same way Dreamers Pro says he is. I'm not sure. You talk about LeBron way more than Kobe Bryant. A lot of people don't like that they can't attribute black love to Kobe Bryant and to Kobe Bryant, right? Because Kobe was with a Latina. He was not with a black woman. And so when they see black folks giving LeBron praise for being with a black woman, it rubs them the wrong way because they cannot attribute that same quality to Kobe being Bryant, right? So that's why they are going out of their way. Ticket and Dreamers Pro are going out of their way to say, oh, well, LeBron really not pro-black because he's not on black broadcasters shows. Because people have often they've often said, people always say LeBron is pro-black because LeBron has taken up stances against police brutality when black folks are getting slaughtered in the streets. You know what I mean? Um, LeBron speaks up about it on his platform, on the and he is, again, probably LeBron is probably the biggest American athlete that we have. Yeah, I think he is and you could correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. I think LeBron James is the biggest athlete that we have in America, the biggest American athlete. And so, as the biggest American athlete, for him to talk about to speak out against police brutality and stand up for Black American people, that means a lot. Ticket TV and Dreamers Pro, they get upset because people have not often put that label on Kobe Bryant. In fact, Kobe Bryant has been criticized, as well as Michael Jordan in particular. Michael Jordan has been criticized for not speaking out for Black people more often. You know what I'm saying? And so now they're trying to flip it on this thing where uh, they're trying to flip it to this thing where, they want to question LeBron James pro-blackness because certain labels was placed on LeBron James that were not placed on their idols, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. Now, Chris, Marcellus has a Black wife, but Marcellus does he says a lot of anti-Black things. Or I'm gonna say this: he rides the fence a lot, and he takes. Yeah, he does say he's friends with a lot of anti-Black people, like Jason Whitlock. That's his boy. He says things, and he's an apologist for anti-Black racists. So while he has a Black wife, yes, because I know what you're saying. You're making the point. You're making the point that with me saying the blackest thing a wealthy Black man can do is be with a Black wife, you're saying, you're saying on the contrary, Marcellus Wiley got a Black wife and he's not pro-Black. Now that's for sure. Now you can't be out here shucking and jiving and having a Black wife. You know what I mean? But so Marcellus Wiley is something completely different. Something completely different. But I get your point, and that's a great counter argument for me. So I appreciate you making that point, Chris, for sure. But like Knuckles Media Fiends is saying, anybody that's cool with Whitlock and has positive things to say about him, that's all I need to know. All I need to know. And Marcellus has showed his hand several times before. But yes, most Black people that do damage to the Black community have Black wives. Let's talk about it. Give me some examples, Zai. Having a Black partner don't make you. I mean, yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. But that is something that when that is something that bodes well for Black. Like, for example, that is something that bodes well. If you're called pro-Black, it's best that you have a Black wife. I'm gonna say that. When you have the label of being pro-Black on you, Yeah, it's very it's more credible when you have a black wife, I would say. I would say that. LeBron James is married to a black woman. I've seen folks that were pro-black but had a white Latino wife. Look at Bean. I just don't like how his wife has been using his money after his passing. Um, so I'm gonna say this. You said, I'm not sure Bean was really pro-black like that per se. I don't think he was against the black community, but I think Kobe had a world. He was like more embracive of a world. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think of the word. I think he had more of a global type of mindset versus a black, like a pro-black mindset, if that makes any sense. I don't think Bean was against black people, but I think he had more of a global mindset than pro-black mindset, if that makes sense. Yeah, the optics are definitely better when you talk black and you sleep black too. Um, Bill Russell, so Timothy, Bill married that white woman later on in life. Timothy, Bill was with a black woman for the majority of his life. All of his children are with that black woman that he was with. You feel me? Bill got with that white woman when he was old. Now, again, that don't take away from the fact he married a white woman still. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But to counter argue that, Bill was with a black woman when he was marching with Martin Luther King. He was with a black woman for the majority of his life. But you're right though. He still at the end of his life, he still was with a white woman. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But so Kareem is married to a white woman. He still spoke out on black issues for sure, for sure. But this is what I'm saying though, as it pertains to LeBron James. LeBron James is married to a black woman. He's very wealthy. He got black children. And I think it says something too, though, that is it that much of a problem if he is pro-black? Nah, I mean having a non-white, non-black. Nah, I think it's not just he married. So let's talk about it. I think people are really making something out of nothing. Okay. LeBron James has done some of the blackest stuff you could do. Again, he married a black woman, not a racially ambiguous black woman either. He married a black woman from around the way. Not a black woman you got to go to the Calabasas and find. Not a black woman you got to go that, that you got to look through the crooks and crevices of California somewhere to find, or Florida somewhere and deep down somewhere. He got a black woman like around the way, black woman that you could have seen going to school with you, right? I mean, that's still a black woman though. You're right. It's still a black woman. Well, what I'm saying is, he got a black woman. He married a high school sweetheart, got black children. He put his black friends in position to be successful. Say he married an ugly black. What are you talking about, bro? Savannah James is not ugly. What are you talking about? Well, no, when I'm saying Florida, bro. What are you talking about, bro? Savannah James is a beautiful woman, 100%. What I'm saying is, we have a colorism thing in our community, right? So that's why I brought up racially ambiguous. Racially ambiguous black woman is still a black woman, 100%. But what I'm saying is that growing up in our communities, we had a colorism thing that a lot of black folks went through in our community. And so there are a lot of men who gain wealth, who get the and that's true for sure, but you know what I mean? I'm speaking solely within black folks. Yeah. So a lot of black folks, a lot of black men, when they get wealthy, they get the image of what we were taught was fine when we was younger. When we were younger, fine was the light-skinned woman all the time. Not all the time. I'm not gonna say all the time. I'm not gonna speak in absolutes. But a lot of times, fine was the light-skinned woman who you knew had a mix, she was mixed or something like that, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right? I have dated a mixed woman before. You feel me? I have. But what I'm saying is that a lot of black wealthy men, when they get older, they try to go figure out the image that they want to go get the mix, what we were taught, programmed to think was just only thing that was fine, you know. Hold on, they also get a photo of LeBron having a white prom date. Yeah, they do. And he had a prom date, a white prom date. He took a white girl to prom, I think when he was in high school. I don't know when, but yeah. Kiefer, I'm not arguing being light skinned makes you less black. It's not what I'm arguing, right? I'm speaking to the fact that, like, again, a lot of people, a lot of growing up, we were conditioned, a lot of us were conditioned to believe that light-skinned black was the only type of fine woman that was the image of being fine. You know what I mean? But anyway, right? LeBron James, not even just marrying Savannah. He put his homies in position to succeed. He got a black agent. Majority of everybody around LeBron James is black for real. It's black all the way. LeBron has spoken out against police brutality against black folks continuously, loudly all the time. You know what I'm saying? LeBron again has put his black friends in position to succeed. Randy, Maverick, Rich, all the way through and through. You know? What else? I was gonna say something else. I've seen LeBron advocate for other black players on this team to get paid more money and put pressure on the organization to get them boys paid. You know? Hey, brother, hold on, man. I'm talking about my community, my people, though. Like, I'm not right now, you feel me? I'm just speaking about the stuff that's going on that happens in the black community. So I understand colorism happens in other communities as well, but I'm strictly talking about how, like, it is, how colorism is cultivated within black America, so on, you know, for sure. But you talking about black people whining about it. Are you black? I don't know what you kind of coming across like you soft shoeing right now. I don't know. You got that soft shoe on, Kiefer? And you got my homie name too. You feel me? You got my homie name, Kiefer. That's my dog name. You sound like you trying to soft shoe out here. I don't know. So no, and do y'all know Russell Westbrook? I'm gonna be real with y'all. Russell really did not. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't think Russell was connected to black culture until he got with Sierra. What's Sierra last name? I forgot her last name. You know, was it Harris? Yeah. Till he got with Sierra. I don't think he was really ingrained in black culture like that. Now Russell Wilson had a grandfather who was a president of a HBCU, so on and so forth. But like many black people who become wealthy, Russell's family was living amongst white folks majority of his life. I don't think he really identified with a lot of black culture until he got with Sierra, being around her, being with a black woman from Atlanta, Georgia. He wasn't really connected. You could tell. You could tell how Russ presented himself, you know? So yeah, you could tell he wasn't connected to it like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Barack being with Michelle Obama, connecting him to black, him being in Chicago too. I'm gonna say that. Obama being in Chicago and then marrying a girl from the south side of Chicago ingrained him in black culture. Him coming to this city, because again, being on the south side is black, south side of Chicago, black as hell. Black as hell. And then he got a girl from Parkway Gardens, from 64th and King Drive. Michelle Obama. Like that just Michelle LaVaughn Robinson, it connected them to a lot of blackness in ways it probably wouldn't, you know what I mean? But yeah, you got people, bro, people only making a big deal out of the situation because a lot of, in the words Willie D, if your criticism outweigh your contributions, you are a raccoon. Yes. So a lot of people are trying to act like LeBron is not black like that. Is not really pro-black because again, they are upset that certain labels are attached to LeBron James that aren't attached to their favorite athletes. People don't often attach pro-black to Michael Jordan's name. People don't often attach pro-black to Kobe Bryant's name, but they've attached it to LeBron James' name. And there are people who don't like the fact that that is attached to his name and is not attached to Kobe and Mike's name. And Dreamers Pro Ticket TV are individuals who are big Kobe and Mike supporters, and they get upset that pro-black is not attached to Michael Jordan and Kobe's Michael Jordan and Kobe's name for real. You know what I mean? But y'all make a good point though, because there are some people who are hard shooting who are married to black women for sure. But like I said, man, LeBron has put his black friends in position to succeed all the way. Rich Paul is responsible for a lot of black men getting paid a whole lot of bread. You feel me? LeBron, I've seen him put organizations' feet to the fire to get J.R. Smith paid, to get Tristan Thompson paid. I've seen them do that. You know what I mean? People are, oh, he made them do that. He made them get them boys paid. I've seen him use his influence to get black women paid. What's Octavia Spencer? I've seen him use his influence to get Octavia Spencer paid and fought for her to get paid. You know? I'm not saying marrying outside of your race makes you a traitor, Kiefer. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's still a pro-black action to marry a black woman and keep generational wealth within amongst black folks. You're not a traitor if I have friends and family who are with non-black women. So I'm not going to demonize or antagonize anybody who dates outside of their race, because then I would have to do the same for my people who I'm close with. Some of my closest friends, some of my closest family members are not married to black women. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to do that. But what I will say though is that when you're wealthy and you keep wealth within the black family and black community, that is a bonus. When you're a wealthy black man and you do that, that is something that's really you can tip your cap to. You know what I mean? Yes, Michael Jordan was with Juanita Vanoy, who he has 3 children with. He was with her for many. I think he got married to her in the late 80s, like 89 or something like that. He got married to Juanita, 89, something like that. But then later on, he married a Cuban woman from Miami. I don't know if she's from Miami, but I will tell you this: Miami Cubans are racist than a motherfucker. When I say a motherfucker, I'm not lying. A lot of them are. So I don't know if she is or not, but you know what I mean? Jordan eventually married a Cuban woman. He got twin children with the Cuban woman. No, white Cuban. It's black Cubans and white Cubans. Black Cubans are Luis Ortiz. Then there are white Cubans. Jordan married a white Cuban, Kiefer. I see you in trying to hard shoe. Jordan is married to a white Cuban woman, not a black Cuban woman. So let me make that distinction. So whatever. But yeah. But the non-black Cubans are MF. Yeah, they are yeah, for real. That woman. You say you a black, right? Aaron, a black Cuban. Black Cuban is something different. I know a black Cuban when I see them. Like Luis Ortiz in Boston, black Cuban like it ain't nothing. Like I said, we know they are black. We all, yeah, for sure. Gilbert Arenas, black Cuban. We know there are a lot of black Cubans for sure. You know what I mean? But then there are a lot of white Cubans. who are very racist to, especially to black people, even if they racist to the black Cubans. And then you see where, hold on, like even in the Dominican community, you see the black Dominicans, the real black, the black Dominicans, they get so fooled into being anti-black racists themselves, they start bleaching their skin like Sammy Sosa. You feel me? They start bleaching their skin like Sammy Sosa. When I was surprised Quinta Brunson of Abbott Elementary was married to a white man. I didn't even know that. So hold on, somebody's gonna say that. So I was gonna I'm looking at somebody comment. Somebody said something. He said yes, Bron is fake pro-black. He goes as far as the NBA will allow, which makes him a tool to reinforce the status. What's the status quo, bro? I don't think LeBron James reinforces the status quo at all. He's a family man, married to the mother of all three of his children. What status quo does he push? And give me an example of what status quo is he pushing. I don't know. I mean, he got nothing but black folks all around him. I don't like in his inner circle. I mean, I'm sure it probably is, but on the viewing, everybody in his inner circle is black like it ain't nothing. And these black dudes from Akron and Cleveland, all of them black, and he got all of them in position to get paper. You feel me? LeBron got 3 black. Who he got fired, Anthony? What black coach he got fired? Name one. Because Darvin Ham got himself fired. You know that. So what other black coach he got fired? Don't bring up Paul Silas. Paul Silas is just not a good coach like that. So he didn't do it. Paul, like, come on. They weren't going to waste LeBron James' youth with a coach that, because I can argue LeBron got a lot of, no, LeBron got Ty Lue. LeBron, matter of fact, Anthony, you talking crazy. LeBron pushed what's David Blatt up out of there for Ty Lue. What are you talking about? He got Ty Lue the job and got Ty Lue paid. He helped cement Mike Brown's legacy. Mike Brown was coach of the year with who? LeBron James. Mike Brown was in the NBA Finals with LeBron James. What are you talking about? It was times all they had on offense was LeBron James. So what you Anthony, you're very misinformed, brother. He didn't get them black men fight. He elevated them dudes. He elevated them. What are you talking about? Some of their best years came with LeBron James. So you can't say that. I'm gonna say this: no true black man will be allowed to live like LeBron. When you're really pro-black, trust you aren't going to be pushed like LeBron to even survive for that long. Okay, so so then everybody that's still alive just not pro-black then. They just not successful. A black man really came to be and how the white men brainwash community, they were already planning his demise. Yeah, and I will never compare. LeBron James ain't no Malcolm X. So Malcolm X was like I'm talking about, like, it's just something different. And I don't think no black man today can be compared to Malcolm X for real. So I'm not arguing that LeBron is Malcolm X at all. Like, what? I know I was named after the man. But what I'm saying is LeBron James has shown nothing but love to the black community. You feel me? Now, Kiefer, this is where you become very misinformed. Martin Luther King, they only try to give you the certain image of Martin Luther King Jr. And I talked about this on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Martin Luther King was pushing for reparations for black Americans all the way through and through. He was talking about white folks saying that black folks need to pick themselves up by the bootstraps when we don't have a boot at all of that. But white America only want to show you that I have a dream speech. So Kiefer, you're misinformed. That's not all Martin Luther King was pushing at all. And the only reason he was pushing what's the word I'm looking for? Integration was that so black folks can have access to certain resources, right? If you're a black man and you living in an area that might be a little affluent, if you don't have no means to take your kids all the way to the black school, all the way across town, my kids can go to school in the neighborhood that we live in. If you're a black man and you traveling on a road trip with your family, your kids and your wife can go to the bathroom in the town that they in and not be discriminated against. He was arguing for access, not for us to just to be cuddled up under white folks and be kissing their butt. That is what they try to make you seem like he was pushed. They try to make it seem like he was pushing. But I'm here to correct you, Kiefer. I'm here to correct you. You feel me? He was not arguing for us to be all up under white folk. And I'm gonna correct you every single time. You feel me? You feel me? So no, bro. LeBron got them traded, and they still was in the NBA making money, Anthony. So if you saying LeBron got people traded, and they still were in the NBA making paper, so it didn't matter if they got traded or not. They still were making cake in the NBA. Black communities were thriving more. We were segregated. Black kids were more educated, and we had better homes too. Man, listen, there's a lot more than integration that hurt black folks. A lot more than that. You don't know what you talking about, Kiefer. You don't know what you talking about. Ain't no white man got them thinking nothing. You feel me? We couldn't have. I know from my grandmother, my black grandmother that was from the South, they could not use the bathroom in white places. They couldn't go eat in white places. None of that. My grandmother is deceased. My grandmother was from the rural Mississippi. Rural. My grandma was born in 1933. You know what I'm saying? Came to Chicago, Illinois during the Great Migration to escape a lot of the racist behavior down south, and a lot of the fact that they didn't have a lot of the opportunities were far and few in between for black folks in the South. I watched my grandmama cry when Barack Obama became president because she couldn't fathom to see that shit ever happening in her life. Okay, so I'm gonna let you know something. My grandma told me stories about all of this. Ain't no white man got me. Kiefer, I'm more educated than you. And I can put a stack on it. I'm more educated than you. White man got you. You ready to kiss his butt at every turn. You feel me? My grandmother was crying at the optics of it, brother. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You sound, again, you in here hard shooting. You on that Marcellus Wiley side of the game. I know where you at. You on the Marcellus Wiley side of the game. You one of them hard shoe steppers. You on that Jason Whitlock side of the coin. I could tell. You know, but anyway, why didn't he back up Kyrie Irving? How many other people backed up Kyrie Irving, bro? How many did? How many did? No, my king is I don't have no king. My king is the most high, brother. I don't know what you're talking about. My king is the most high. You feel me? I don't know what you're talking about. So you gotta take that somewhere else. Blacks were thriving. Right, exactly. Explain Black Wall Street. What is he talking about? Every time black folks tried to uprise and rise up against oppression, it was railroaded at every turn. So again, we got these dudes on here buck dancing and eating these butter biscuits coming in this comment section. I'm here to tell you right now, I'm fanning the flames on that. You know? So yeah, man. I got distracted, but you know, I'm gonna say this too. With LeBron, and because people saying he ain't on a black podcast. Do I think Bron needs to visit some black podcasts? Absolutely, 100% sure. Right, Rosewood, Black Wall Street, exactly. I've been in the clouds, man, listening. Yo, LeBron takes are kind of off in my opinion. I mean, that's your opinion, but like, just this is how this is how I feel. But anyway, I do, yes, I do believe LeBron needs to visit some black podcasts for sure. I believe LeBron will go to Club Shay Shay once his career is over with, or once his career is like when he really done. I think LeBron is gonna give Shannon Sharp a Cat Williams type interview. Um, I think LeBron should go to Draymond Green's podcast, do Draymond. Ron makes a podcast. Now, and I made a video addressing this. LeBron does have the shop where he brings a lot of black folks on there to talk about a lot of different things. LeBron has been on a road tripping podcast with Channing Frye and Richard Jefferson. He's been on that podcast. But yeah, and I do think that you're going to see influx of LeBron doing a lot of black podcasts and all of that too. You know, LeBron should go on all the smoke. I don't know if LeBron gonna go on all the smoke, Chris, due to the fact that Steven Jackson has been very passive aggressive to him. I think he got no problem with Matt Barnes, but Steven Jackson has been very passive aggressive to him over the years. He's been like, he'll say something cool and then he'll throw shots at LeBron. And not, I got Kobe over him. That's not a problem, right? That's not a problem. You got Kobe over him, whatever. He'll say things like, he'll throw a little, yeah, Jack be hating. He'll throw shots at him. It's kind of weird. He'll big him up, then he'll throw shots out of nowhere. So I don't know if Bron gonna go on that one, you know. What I about to say? But yeah, he said Jordan is a raccoon as well. A lot of people feel like that, but yeah, exactly. Steven Jackson playing stupid when when Zeke checked him, 100%, stuff like that. But I will say that we need a community buy-in. LeBron can be as protective as black as he wants to. What does that do for everybody else? Now, that's true. We need black folks to reach back and pour money and pour resources into the black community, right? So, yes, I do believe that black athletes, or not just athletes, I'm not going to just say black athletes, black people of influence should donate funds to historically black colleges and universities because they educate a lot of black folks, especially black folks who are living in certain area. Like, like I went to a HBCU for undergrad. I went to PWI for grad school. But Mississippi Valley State educated most of the Mississippi Delta, right? A lot of times, even Shannon Sharp, right? Shannon talked about how he couldn't, with the grades he had, he couldn't get into the big colleges that were recruiting him. Like his brother Sterling went to South Carolina. He couldn't go to them big schools because of his grades. However, Savannah State and HBCU took a chance on him and gave him the opportunity to help him become a better student, become more diligent in the classroom, all of the above. So the HBCUs give a chance to black folks who probably wouldn't get that chance at other schools. So it's important that we help to keep the doors of these HBCUs open, considering the fact that the government intentionally underfunds the HBCUs. You know what I mean? So I do believe that individuals like a LeBron James and all the other super successful black millionaires should be pouring, I'm not saying all of their money, but giving some money back to the HBCUs that take a chance on a lot of black kids. You know what I mean? And yeah, and I remember talking and Grubbing Media when Shannon did that. I checked him about it, and Shannon did that because he was trying to lay protection down for Prime, for Deion Sanders, because he didn't like the fact that Prime was getting ridiculed for leaving the HBCU community. And then he started talking about how I wouldn't have went to Savannah. I wouldn't have went to an HBCU if I ain't had to, and all of that. And even if that's the case, I don't think saying that is not okay to me. because it goes against the advocacy of HBCUs. When you, one of the biggest alums from a HBCU, say, I wouldn't have went there if I didn't have to. You know what I mean? It waters down your alumni status at Savannah State. And Savannah State is a school that gave you the opportunity to succeed and show your athletic prowess on the field because you weren't academically successful enough to be at the bigger schools. And Savannah State took the chance on you and gave you that platform for you to get your grades better, but also for you to play ball and show what you were made of. So I feel like you don't down the HBCUs to protect prime. I don't like that. You could have went in order to defend Prime's decision to leave Jackson State. He could have went so many other ways, but I hated him doing that. And I spoke out about it, bro. For sure. So yeah, man, I think yeah, and yes, while somebody said yes, it's great that LeBron speaks up for Black American people, 100%. But yes, resources do need to be poured into our community, for sure. And I do think that does help. You know, protecting that position what makes you a tool. That's the exact thing that Stephen A. Smith does. You know, yeah. So I felt like, so y'all remember when I was on here a few weeks ago, and I talked about how Black people have been tricked into become individualistic instead of community minded. Black people have been shunned. You ever notice when Black people get wealthy and we like, yo, when people start talking about man, you know, I wish a lot of Black wealthy people could donate to the HBCUs, so on and so forth. And you'll have white people or non-Black people saying stuff like, it ain't y'all job to save them Black folks. It ain't y'all job. They made their life. They got to figure stuff out on their own. You see non-Black people telling wealthy Black people that they shouldn't worry about the status of other Black folks, which is bullshit to me, right? Because they will convince Black people and program us to be individualistic while they are the whole time being community minded. They will hire their neighbor next door. They will hire their neighbor next door's grandkids. They will hire their best friend's niece and nephew. They will hire all these different people. White folks will do it. Asian people will do it. Hispanic people will do it. Native American people will do all of that, right? But then at the same time, they will trick Black folks into saying, well, you need to just be individualistic. Worry about yourself. Worry about yourself. And Black people fall for that bullshit all the time. And no, we should not. That's gonna be my next video. I'm probably, well, I don't know about the next. I shouldn't say that next one. I'm gonna make that video coming up. Oh yeah, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all hit the like button for me. I appreciate y'all reminding me of that. To tell y'all to hit the like button. But yeah, you have. But they will trick Black folks into being individualistic all the time. And I'd be looking like, what the hell? No, they will tell you that. They will tell y'all, don't worry about them other Black folks. You good on your own, to keep Black folks down. And then they whole time they being community building like it ain't nothing. My mother was an accountant at a law firm, right? And so my mom, man, boy, you know, my mom worked her butt off, right? And she ended up losing that job during COVID, unfortunately. But anyway, my mom was an accountant at a law firm. Boy, they had their nieces, their nephews, their cousins getting paid good money to be assistants and so on, like to be secretaries. They were getting paid handsomely to be secretaries and stuff like that. Seriously, getting paid great money that somebody with college degrees would have to have in order to get that type of pay. And my mama was seeing all of, my mama was the accountant, right? So she like, yo, look at what they doing for their people. Like, they nieces and nephews can come up in there making guap, being glorified assistants. And it's fine. You get what I'm saying? So I want Black people to understand, man, we have got to be community minded. That is a way for us to really succeed and for us to really get ahead. So we can't think about, oh, I'm not worried about anybody else. What happens to other people? I'm just worried about me, you know? Um, oh man, Joey Killmonger, I appreciate the Cash App donation, brother. I appreciate that a lot, man. It means a lot to me and my family, man. Thanks so much for that, man. For sure. We should have all the jobs at the DHS offices in majority black towns. Hey, listen, Joe, and I applied for positions with DHS. Unfortunately, I didn't get them, brother. But I recently was applying for jobs at DHS offices. For sure. Right? I remember I was gonna make a point. I kind of got distracted off of the point. But like, yeah, we have to be community minded. We can't just be like, oh, forget everybody. Oh, I remember when so Killer Mike was on the Breakfast Club one time, many years ago, probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I remember this because I was still living with my mom at the time. This is about no more than 5 years. This is about like 6 years, 6 years ago. 6 years ago. Because I moved out my mom's spot in 2019. So yeah, DJ Envy and Killer Mike was talking. And Killer Mike was speaking about how, affluent black people, the first thing they do, what a lot of affluent black people brag on their children being in private school and how they're so glad that their kids don't got to go to school in the neighborhoods and the communities they come from. And he like, yo, well, shouldn't you be concerned about what happens to black kids who don't have parents who are wealthy like DJ Envy, who are rich, or who have DJ Envy type money? Shouldn't you worry about what happens to them? It's great that your child is able to be afforded a quality education at another school, but what about the other kids who don't have wealthy parents who can pay for them, who can pay tuition for their kids to go to school across town? What happens to those kids? You see what I'm saying? Oh man, what's going on? Cause of my cousin up in here. What's the word, cuz? Hey man, my people up in here, man. What's going on? So and I felt that because do y'all know? So like when I tell y'all I'm from Chicago, I'm from South Side Chicago, Illinois. My cousin, look at my cousin, y'all. My cousin attests to the communities that we grew up in, she grew up in. You feel me? My cousin, we from South Side Chicago for real, for real. So my mother, thank God my mom and my dad had the wherewithal to send me to a magnet school. Because I went to magnet school. It was a Chicago public school. It was a CPS school, and the school was in the hood, but it was a magnet school. And in the magnet school, we had to test to get into the school, right? So my mother knew, unfortunately, the schools around the neighborhoods we lived in, they weren't quality schools like that. So I got into the magnet school. I tested into the magnet school, right? So then when I got in, my sister was able to get in there because when your sibling get in, it was something like if you got a sibling in there, your sibling can also come into there. They don't got to test in. I tested in, and then my sister got in automatically because I was already in there, right? At this time, my sister, and look, I'm getting off topic. My cousin from the Robert Taylor Projects, the same place that Kendrick Lamar's father is from, Robert Taylor's. So now my cousin, even though she was in a project, she went to Beasley Academic Center, which is an excellent school across the street from the projects. You feel me? Like right across the street from the projects. But anyway, so yeah, our people said, damn, we all did. I attended Beasley at magnet school. Yep. We went to our people had the wherewithal to put us in magnet schools, even though we was in the hood. So me being in that school, I learned how to type in the 3rd grade. I was learning Russian from kindergarten to 3rd grade. I was learning to speak Russian. From 4th grade to 8th grade, I was learning to speak French. I learned how to write in cursive excellently by the end of my 3rd grade year. I learned how to type without looking down in 3rd grade. I learned how to write a high school paper in the 6th grade. I learned how to really do a research project, a science project, a research science project. By the time I was in 7th grade, I already knew how to do that. I knew how to have a control, precedent experiments. I knew how to have all of those things because the school I went to was just really good. And it was a school in the hood, but it was a magnet school. So what I'm saying is that being in that curriculum prepared me for the rigors of high school and college, you know? But thank God my mom and my dad had that wherewithal to understand I need to go to a school that's really good, had a good curriculum. But everybody in the hood, their parents don't, some of them don't even know how to go about doing that, unfortunately, right? And so it shouldn't have had to be a thing where I had to go outside of my neighborhood to go to school, right? It shouldn't have been a thing where I had to go outside the neighborhood to go to school. I'm living on 65th in Minerva. I'm going to school on 93rd in Preston, right by the red line. I'm going to school way out of my way. Not way, but decently out of my way, I should say. Not way, but decently out of my way. It shouldn't even be like that. My mom and my daddy shouldn't have had to do that. The school in my neighborhood should have been great and held up to them same standards. You get me? But unfortunately, the school in my neighborhood didn't have them resources. Didn't have those resources for me to be for me to like be in that school and get properly educated so I can be prepared for the rigors of high school. So yeah. And my cousin, hold on, my cousin in here. Let me see what my cousin was saying. Yeah, she say Beasley had them typing in the 1st grade, Beasley Academic Center, you know. So yeah, man. We speak about, so what I'm saying, I said all that to say that Black folks, we got to be community minded. And yes, I do believe that LeBron has a mindset that he cares about Black folks and love Black folks for sure, all the way through and through. Yes, but it's gonna take people like him and other super affluent Black people also to pour resources into our communities so that we can all be on level playing ground or as best as possible, right? You said we about the same age, and during that time, same in my hood, they were closing down schools and cutting services. Facts, facts. You know what I'm saying? So, like, me being an alum of an HBCU, I've seen HBCUs close down and lose accreditation, all different type of stuff, because they don't have enough financial support for the school. And these schools the whole time are educating Black folks. They're educating. Hold on, Latanya. Oh, Tanya. I appreciate that, Tanya. Thank you so much for that donation. I'm just seeing it on my Cash App. I appreciate that a whole lot, Tanya. Thank you so much, Tanya. Always showing me love. I appreciate it all the way through and through. Hold on, whose birthday is it? Oh, Talking and Grubbing Media. Happy birthday, bro. My bad, boss. I didn't even see it. I'm kind of like so lost in the topic that I didn't even see. You sent that it was your birthday. Happy birthday, man. I hope you enjoy your day, and I hope everything go well for you today. You surrounded by a lot of love and support, and you appreciate it on the day, man. Look, every year my birthday, my mama be cooking me a big old dinner every birthday of mine, and then all my people be coming over and stuff like that. Nah, man, Bron done well, for high school education. I'm gonna say this, man. Again, LeBron putting them Black men around him in position to succeed is excellent. Again, him creating generational wealth with a Black woman is beautiful. Him getting a lot of other Black players on his team, forcing the organizations to pay them handsomely when he know they was playing well, it speaks well for him. And and his dealings with the Black community. Bron, I bet it all got love for him because he could be so much worse. He could be JC. Oh Lord. Lord Jigga, man. Man. Y'all know I've made videos about that. Hey, my cuz, I got you next week, cuz. All love, cuz. Hey, cuz, hold on. Hey, I gotta have you on here. I gotta interview you too. Hey, y'all, look. This is my cousin. My cousin. This is my second cousin, but she really like my first cousin because we like only a year apart. You know, her mother and my grandfather are brothers and sisters. So, but we grew up together. All our birthdays in January. So yeah, Bron made that school before it was popular to do so. Nah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, Jabari, what's going on? What's the word, man? So what I'm saying is that you got a lot of people I feel like trying to question LeBron James pro-blackness. But and I think and yes, while I do think Bron should do some black podcasts, to get some black podcasts, some opportunities to do some big numbers on a show and all of that for sure. I do believe it's coming, but I agree he should do some black podcasters for sure. All the way. But Bron has done a lot of things and he has stood in solidarity with black folks a lot. So I think he should be the last person you're questioning somebody's blackness about. Joe Black said them black cousins. She say, set it up. I'm ready. All right, I got you, cuz. I'm gonna hit you up after I get off here. He said them black cousins. We ain't exactly sure how we related, but we ride for ours though. Thanks, man. Man, look, when my auntie, my cousin, they was living in the Robert Taylor projects. I don't even know. Are y'all familiar with the Robert Taylor projects? I don't even know if y'all familiar with them like that. If you're not, you could look it up on YouTube. And yeah, we related. We blood. Like, yeah. Her mom and my grandfather are brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. So what I'm saying, I'm not sure if y'all familiar with the Robert Taylor projects or whatever, but her mother used to babysit us. So we were all the school bus would drop us off at a school, John Farron Elementary School across the street. And me and my sister would walk to the building that, they lived in. And my cousin Bobo, her brother would come meet us at the elementary school and walk us into the building. Corey Holcomb from the Robert Taylors, yeah. I don't know where he get 5150 from that. My cousin that's in here, she from 5100, and 5135. Building 5100, 5135. Right? Now these project houses, the homes are these buildings are 16 stories tall. When my cousin was in 5100, they lived on the 15th floor. Hey, wasn't that the 15th floor y'all lived on, cuz? 15th floor? They lived on the 15th floor. And in 5100, in the building, sometimes the elevator would shut down, it would break down. So we had to walk up 15 flight of stairs to get to their building. The elevator would break down sometime. I swear to God. We gotta walk all the way up them stairs, get a workout in sometime to go to her floor. Man, my family is my family history. So my maternal family, my mom, them, all her people they all from the Robert Taylor buildings. Even my grandmother and my grandfather both from the Robert Taylors. So again, yep. When they was in 5135, they was on the 5th floor. And so can you imagine watching Candyman? Because Cabrini Green and Robert Taylor were constructed similarly, right? Can you imagine being in Chicago and my auntie is babysitting us in the Robert Taylor buildings and watching Candyman? Boy, you scared as hell because you think Candyman gonna pop out one of them dark corners in the building. You're gonna think he's gonna pop out one of them dark corners. So are you related to Corey Holcomb? No, I'm not. If I would, I'd tell Corey about himself. Because Corey is a hilarious comedian. Funny as hell. But he got a lot of flaws about him personally that I don't. And we all have flaws and faults, and I have them as well. So I'm never going to be on here presenting like I'm perfect. I've done wrong things. I've handled certain situations wrong. But Corey just gets super obnoxious. Tales from the hood had us scared as hell. Me and my cousin. Boy, let me tell you something. My cousin right here. her mama, her mama's house is the first time I ever seen Tales from the Hood. I was terrified. My auntie, her mother, my auntie was a movie, is not was, she is a movie buff. They had every movie you can think of in the house. All the time. I feel like every time my auntie was the hair braider for the project for the hood. She braided everybody hair in the hood. I feel like my auntie was buying a movie every time she did somebody hair. She had every movie you could think of in the house. We watched Tales from the Hood. I was horrified. I was scared as hell to look at the cover of the movie. That's how scared I was of that damn movie. Me and my cousin both. You said both my mom and dad are born and raised from Chicago. Oh, for real? Oh, that's what's up, Reed. Where you living at now? Where you from? Yeah, my auntie had the real movie, not the bootleg. She had the real movies. 15 floors. Yeah, it's only a matter. He crazy, man. So the Robert Taylors, man, 16 floors actually. Was it six? It was 16 floors in the Robert Taylor, wasn't it? 16. It was because I think it was one more floor above y'all. Wasn't it, cuz? It was 16 floors in the Robert Taylor, right? I think it was 16. And they was on the 15th floor. So D Wade don't like Wade love LeBron, man. Well, that's Wade boy. But nah, y'all. So I remember, yeah, it was 16 carriages. 16 carriages. I was gonna say it was 16 floors in there. Look, so they had this. Me and my cousin, we gonna talk about it in the interview. They had a program in the projects called Black on Black Love, right? And it was on the first floor of the building. And my auntie, when we would be bored, she would send us down there. And in the program, they would advocate for Black love and Black people supporting each other. We would make arts and crafts for our parents and stuff on you know, special holidays. We would do all type of clay figures and clay molds and all the clay molds. The lady would have us doing stuff for people, sending stuff to people in the prisons and stuff like that, doing like whatever stuff. We would do what else? They would have like, I think, conflict resolution stuff and Black on Black Love. That was the name of the program though in the projects. So we used to go to that program a lot. And it was a boys and girls club across the street from the project building. And I remember we went to this water park with that place. Yeah, we had the boys, and my cousin beat me too. Had the boys and girls club across the street. We went to Kittyland, and we went to this little water park. I don't remember, what was it, Deep River? What part? Water park was that? I don't even remember. My cousin was scared as hell to go down the slide. See, I live in Dallas now. My folk got out of Chicago and moved to Minnesota. Got you, Minnesota. A lot of Black folks from Chicago moved to Minnesota. I think, like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I remember hearing Minnesota having like affordable, nice housing at affordable rates out there in Minnesota. Because one of my best friends, his auntie moved to Minnesota from Chicago and raised her children in Minnesota. So yeah, there's a lot of Black folks from Chicago moving in Minnesota. He said it was Deep River Water Park. We went to Deep River Water Park. It was cracking too, boy. It was fun. My cousin said she ain't going down that damn water slide at all. But yeah, Boys and Girls Club was the original AAU basketball. Hey, look, I remember we we'd go to the Boys and Girls Club all the time. All the time. We in there playing basketball, all of that. Now, Chris, that is a great question. I never watched The Awakening. That, like, The Awakening was like, so then years later, you know, they had something called The Reawakening that came out for the younger generation. The Awakening was like stuff during like a time my auntie was younger. When I say my auntie, my mama's sister. My auntie, like, I got an auntie that's like 12 years older than me. 11 years older than me. Right? My mama's little sister. And I think The Awakening was popular when she was younger. And then The Reawakening came and hit the scene about it like in 2012, 2011. But I didn't watch it, but it was super popular though. Like I remember people like if I had my auntie on here, Chris, she'd talk to you about that all the time. That was something that was big. Tasha and your mama used to watch that. Yeah, my mom. Now see, look. Now my cousin saying my mama and my auntie, I mean my mama and my cousin, her sister used to watch that show. Yeah, the Awakening and all of that. That was a theme for black folks in Chicago to be watching. Yeah, but then they had made something like called The Reawakening for people around my age range. I didn't watch that one, but people was really into it. And the people from the TV show, from the series, they was like popular in Chicago. Like, you know, they was really taking pictures with people and everything all the time. Somebody said they were paying $50 for the oxys in Minnesota like 10 years ago. Legend. That's it. Oh Lord. And you know, I wouldn't know nothing about the oxys. Is that cheap for oxy? $50, is that cheap? I would think it would be cheaper than that, huh? Yeah, man. So yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna get my cousin on here so she could talk about, you know, uh growing up in Chicago, growing up, how we grew up, and then her growing up in the Robert Taylor Project. Hey, cuz, when y'all leave the buildings? You was about what, 15? You like 15 when y'all left the Robert Taylors, right? You about 14, 15. No, you about like 14. Like 14, right? You about 14 when y'all left the buildings? I think you was about had to been like that age. I feel like y'all left in like the buildings in like 06. Did y'all leave in 06 or 05? Something like that. So a whole lot of people in Minnesota are from Chicago. We call it mini Chicago. It's a nice place, but I had to get out of there. I feel you. Yeah, it's a lot of people from Chicago in Minnesota. In like 10 years, when the data comes out, you'll be able to track the impact of the opioid crisis, how it impacted how Americans migrated from 05 to 2020. Now, you, with that being said, which one you think had the worst well, I don't think it's a question. The crack epidemic. Crack cocaine did black folks way worse, I feel like. But I mean, I'm not trying to create a contest between drug epidemics and so on and so forth, but drug crises rather, you know. But when I think about crack cocaine and how it did black folks, when I talk to my dad, most of the people my dad grew up with are all crack addicted. A lot of them have passed away. You said the opioid was worse on the country. What you think was worse on black folks in particular though? Crack cocaine, opioids. Because the way black folks, I'm telling you, my dad's friends he grew up with, a lot of them got addicted to crack cocaine and never got off. They died still smoking crack cocaine and lost their families, lost their children, all of that. Crack cocaine. Like I know people in the community that are crack addicts, and I didn't even know that. My dad had to tell me they had families and had jobs before all of this. Unfortunately, crack cocaine, it dehumanized a lot of like people that we call them crackheads, but you know, people that got addicted to crack. We just think for some, like when you're a kid, you can't imagine them actually living like regular lives, right? And actually being clean. My dad started telling me, hey, you know, he had a wife and he had a son and he had a regular job, everyday job at first. She was a regular girl. She was a nice girl. She didn't do nothing, you know, she started smoking crack and her whole life turned upside down. My dad was telling, I promise you, I remember over a span of a week, I was at my dad's crib and my dad, we would go to my grandmother's house frequently. My dad would go to my grandmother's house every day to go check on my grandmama when she was still living, his mom. And in the neighborhood, he would see a lot of people he grew up with, they was on drugs. And he like, man, you know, I grew up with her. She wasn't always like that. You know, she used to have a job, yada, yada. This person, he used to have a wife. This person, he's a functioning addict. He go to work still, but he still be smoking and sniffing every, like it'd be crazy. Joe Black said that was a straight up war crime. Government invented it, brought it in, and sold it to us and locked us up for facts. Like, man, when you really see, and I didn't understand it till I got older. Yeah, and I don't, in Boots 223, I don't think LeBron is fake pro black at all. I think he has a mindset to support black folks for sure. You know what I mean? I just think a lot of people are trying to spin that narrative because he didn't go to black podcasters for his sit down interview where he discussed everything. But say, of course you don't. I mean, you've seen evidence that, he's not a fake pro-black person per se. You know what I'm saying? But could he be doing more? Yes, but a lot could be said for people that could be doing a lot of other people that could be doing more too. But yeah, would I like to see him donate to HBCUs? 100%. Yes, and that's exactly 2 cents. Him going on Pat McAfee was all about going to somebody else on ESPN. And Stephen A. Smith has a tift with him and Pat McAfee got like a weird thing going on. You know what I'm saying? And so LeBron know that. He like, I'm finna go on Pat. I'm gonna go on Pat McAfee show because Stephen A. and Pat McAfee got something weird going on with each other. You know? Yeah, he said, Mills, you think LeBron waiting to retire to go on black podcaster show? Specific black podcasters. I think he's gonna go on Shannon Sharp podcast when he's done for sure. And I think he's gonna give Shannon probably like a 3-4 hour. I think LeBron might give Shannon like a 3-4 hour interview. And Shannon gonna have to cut it up into many different parts. I really do think that. When he went on Travis Kelce podcast, he wasn't talking about nothing real like that. He thought we'll get you to see the light on the phony goat. I don't got LeBron number 1. I got Bron number 2, but that's my favorite player. So that's the guy I watched growing up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the guy who talent I admired. But what I was about to say, I don't know what I was saying before that. Yeah. So I think he's gonna go on Shannon Sharp podcast. I think he's gonna go on Draymond podcast. I think you're probably gonna see him on you might see him on a pivot. You might see him on other black podcasters platform. But also too, just think about if LeBron needs to retire that last game, which it was a bad last game for sure. But he's played well majority of the season, Jack. So I think him needing to retire after that game is a stretch. He's played pretty well. Honestly, LeBron for majority of the season, especially since since right before the Luka Doncic trade, throughout majority of the trade, I've seen LeBron look the best he's looked in about 2.5, 3 years for real. You know what I'm saying? But he did look bad the other day, though. He did look bad. And he'll have moments where he looks like, oh, he's old. He'll have the moments for real. Was LeBron your favorite player when Rosen was battling for the East? Yes, he was. But I was rooting for Derrick Rose now. Like I always tell y'all, whenever the Bulls play the Lakers or any LeBron-led team, I root for the Bulls. Because that's my team. But if a LeBron team wins, I'm not upset. But I'm always rooting for the Bulls. So I wanted Derrick Rose and the Bulls to beat LeBron James. I really did. Even though it was going to be a hit on LeBron legacy if they would have beat them, I was rooting for the Bulls because 1, that's my team, and 2, Derrick Rose was at the helm. Derrick Rose is a Chicago public school kid. He's a Southside kid like me. He come from the conditions I come from. So like, I don't think people really understand how proud we were of Derrick here. You know what I mean? And maybe people do, but I think if you were seeing Derrick over the years, it was just crazy to see him elevate like that. Now I'm not talking about, when I say elevate, I'm not talking about his jumping prowess. I'm talking about like taking his family from poverty to wealth. It's crazy. Stephen B said, I don't think you get it, Mills. What you mean by that, Stephen B? Explain to me. Explain to me. Bron was fifth on the MVP ladder a few weeks ago. Yeah, man. So he far from it. He far from he need to hang it up. You know, he still looked great. Oh, you right, Stephen B. He said it's to the point that it doesn't matter what platform LeBron goes on, they will still find something to get at him about. I agree. If he went on a black podcaster show and he talked about Stephen A. Smith, people would say, "Oh, you went on a black folks show to get at another black man." You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you using a black man's platform to trash a black man. That ain't what you put. You feel me? So you right. Yeah, he probably couldn't win for losing with that. You're right, 100%. People gonna find anything to get at him about. And let me make a distinction too. Earlier in the conversation, um, when I was talking about mixed race, I'm not saying a mixed race black person is not a black person because they are black, 100%. Um, they black, you know, especially if they're being raised to be black. And that goes to a whole deeper conversation. As I told y'all, you know, I've crushed or, you know, in high school, dated girls who had mixedness, who were mixed a little bit, who um had a white parent or had a parent who was half white, rather, you know. So yeah, I'm not saying that. Some people, I've seen a dude, Kiefer was trying to make it seem like I was saying that if you have black, you're not black. And that's not what I was saying at all. You know, said, man, that switch to Miami messed LeBron image up forever. Uh, it's to some people. But I also think that had he not won in Cleveland, which I don't think they would have ever been in position to really get a superstar in Cleveland had he not left. The Cleveland Cavaliers were always going to be good enough to not have I don't think the Cleveland Cavaliers were ever going to be good enough I think they were going to be way too good to get a draft pick, what I'm saying. They were always going to LeBron James on that team was always going to have them very good enough to where they won't get high draft picks. And free agents were not coming to Cleveland, unfortunately for him. They were not. So if he stayed in Cleveland, they were always going to be above the pack, and they were never going to get any free agents over there, nor were they going to get draft picks. And LeBron was never going to be in content. I mean, he probably could have done it maybe when Boston got old, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But then he would have went up against Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and them. I don't know how he would have fared without having another good, nice running mate for real. You know, like you said, like Stephen B said, LeBron kept them out the lottery picks all the time. So LeBron need to retire because he had cancer, not because he play on the court. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. His moves off the court is straight snake work. What moves off the court are you speaking of? That's snake work. Explain that to me. LeBron gets all the help in the world. Well, in that first Cleveland stint, bro, he didn't have no help on that team in that first Cleveland stint. I mean, Mo Williams was a very good player, but when Mo got to the playoffs, Mo did not perform well at all in playoff games. Who did they have? Antoine Jameson. Antoine was very solid. Antoine, another dude that again could not go for 30 with LeBron James. He couldn't, not consistently, or could go for 25, 26 consistently. LeBron had Boobie Gibson. Boobie was a glorified role player. And Boobie got paid a bag off of scoring 40-some points in a playoff game. That game we hit all them threes against where he hit all them threes against Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So Boobie was never nothing more than a role player. He was over there with Danielle Marshall, Ira Newble, Sasha Pavlovich. Zydrunas Ilgauskas was all right. He was cool. Zydrunas Ilgauskas was never a superstar player. ever. If a center was any type of athletic, Big Z was gonna have trouble with them. And if they were any type of athletic, Big Z was gonna have trouble with them. Yeah, JJ Hickson. He had who else is over there at the time? Eric Snow. Eric Snow was never a scoring threat at all. Eric Snow was never a shooter at all. Um, who else he had over there with him? Larry Hughes is old. By the time Larry Hughes got to Cleveland, he was nowhere near the Larry Hughes he was in Washington. Larry was getting you like 15 a game. Larry was not reliable to score with LeBron consistently. He was not at all. Larry was not. Larry's best years was in Washington with the Wizards. Anderson Varejao, no. Yeah, Eric Snow was at the end of his career in Cleveland. That was after his stint in Philly, right? Anderson Varejao, no. Anybody that was athletic, I remember, boy, Dwight Howard was giving Anderson Varejao and Big Z hell. Yeah, and that'd be a problem with me, Jabari. People be out here acting like Big Z was like he was cold. He was cool. He was cool. Zydrunas was a two-time All-Star, and that was by default, to be honest with you, because at that time, the centers in the Eastern Conference were not that good. So he made an All-Star team once the year before LeBron got there. He was only an All-Star one time playing with LeBron James. One time. The first time he made the All-Star team, he was an All-Star the year before LeBron James even got on the team. So Big Z was good for 14 points and like seven rebounds. On a good day, Big Z will give you 10 boards. He wasn't even giving you double-digit rebounds at 7'1" because he wasn't athletic. He was slow. He could hit the occasional jumper, but that was it. LeBron had Shaquille O'Neal when Shaq was like 37 years old, like 2 years away from retirement. Ben Wallace, at that point, Ben was all done, really. Ben could give you 12 rebounds, and that was about it. The best of Ben was gone by the time he got to Cleveland. That's 100% fact. I'm trying to think of the other players he had on them teams. Joe Smith. Joe he hit the occasional 18-foot jumper for you. That was about it. We had Flip Murray over there with him at one point. Flip was cool. He was cool. You know. Who else? That was about it. And most people don't even know these names I'm talking about. So, yeah, if LeBron would have had Amari Stoudemire, then yeah, we would have definitely had a conversation. He didn't have anything close to that at that first year in Cleveland. That first stint in Cleveland. I'm remembering these guys. Yeah, and Mo, like I said, Mo was good, but Mo was a terrible playoff performer. Whenever Mo got to the playoff, Mo was shooting 5 of 16, 4 of 17. He was doing stuff like that consistently. Delonte was solid, but Delonte was never a big game performer, ever. And it might be due to the fact Delonte had a lot of mental illness he was fighting too. So that could also be another thing. He was dealing with fighting mental illness. Yeah, Ben Wallace and LeBron the same height. And Bron might be taller than Ben. Quiet as kept, Stephen B. He might be taller than Ben. Yeah, that first 7 years in Cleveland, man, he ain't had much to work with for real, and he knew that. And he knew if he would have stayed in Cleveland, they were not going to beat the Boston Celtics. I watched LeBron James go head to head. Go head to head with are you talking about Drew Gooden? Drew Gooden, 2 cents. Drew Gooden from Kansas. Yeah, Drew was cool. He was cool. He was respectable. He wasn't nowhere near a star player, nowhere near an all-star. He's respectable. But yeah. Yup. Drew Gooden. Yeah, Larry, and like I said, Larry, by the time Larry Hughes got to Cleveland, Larry best years was in I knew he was talking about though too, Sandy. Drew Gooden. By the time Larry Hughes got to Cleveland, he was not the same. His best years were in Washington. Larry Hughes was giving the Cleveland Cavaliers like 15 points a game. You could never rely on Larry to score big with LeBron, with him. Like, no. That's what everybody like LeBron after nothing but hate for dude after that decision on live TV. Yeah, I mean, it was a power imbalance. And I think the league hadn't seen that coming from a player on his own free will do that. And the powers that be in the NBA didn't like it because now you had a player really influencing other players to really take their own their own legacies into their own hands. At that point in their career, players stayed loyal to organizations for the most part. Even when the organization was trying to underpay them, players were trying to they really was only leaving their respective teams when they were old. Players were leaving when they got old and they were falling out of their prime years. LeBron left Cleveland honestly before he was in his prime. He was 7 years in the league, but Bron prime didn't hit until he was in Miami. So the NBA hadn't seen a player leave their organization, which is why I think Cleveland thought that they didn't have to do anything to keep him there. They thought, oh, he gonna stay with us because why would he leave? Nobody does that. People don't leave until they get old. And Bron was like, hell no, I'm up out of here. If I don't win, with the help of talk shows like Cold Pizza, First Take, and it was formerly known as Cold Pizza. When you had talking heads like Skip Bayless making every game LeBron plays a legacy game, he understood if I don't get a championship, my legacy is at stake. And I may not get a championship in Cleveland because we're not going to be bad enough to get a good draft pick. And then this organization is not going to surround me with quality free agents. You know, they were trying to surround LeBron with just nothing but 3-and-D players. And yeah, are you right? Kobe Bryant, well, you right. Kobe was about to be out of LA until he made them. He made them get Pau Gasol. He made them get Pau Gasol by threatening to trade them, by threatening to leave them by saying I want to be traded. And they went to trade and they traded Kwame Brown for Pau Gasol, which was the steal of the decade. The Lakers committed highway robbery by getting Pau Gasol. Literally. It's not that the players around LeBron weren't good. You need elite 3-and-D players around him to be at his best. He didn't have that his first go around. It was cool. They weren't that good like that, though. Black Mall. They wasn't that good. They was cool. But they wasn't that good. No, you had nobody of Chris Bosh's caliber on that Cleveland team. LeBron turned Bosh into a 3-and-D player. Yeah, and I think he became that by default though, because one, LeBron at that point didn't know how to work the play. He didn't know how to run the pick and roll like that. And then he had Wade, so him and Wade would take turns ball handling. But Chris was able to stretch the floor. So Chris would oftentimes float to the corner because he knew that when LeBron drove to the basket, he would be open. So Chris would, of his own free will, knowing he got an open basket, would float to the corner because he knew when LeBron drove to the cup, it would cause traffic to just come all to him. And he knew Bron had a knack for finding an open man. And Chris, yeah, the post game was phased out 100%. Yeah. Because of driving LeBron James was a threat. So guys knew they was going to be open. And if you could shoot, you could shoot. You know? That's the problem. The team was built solely for LeBron. Do what the Bulls did with Jordan. They built triangle for Scottie too. I mean, yeah. You know, but at that point, LeBron ain't played with no coaches at that point that knew how to utilize that. The best coach LeBron James ever played for was Eric Spoelstra. You know what I mean? But Mike Brown and Paul Silas, they didn't really know how to utilize like that. You know what I'm saying? You had brilliant basketball minds with Michael Jordan at the, Tex Winter. Tex Winter establishing a triangle offense. Because really Tex Winter, I think, is the one who constructed the triangle offense. I think that was Tex Winter, for real. And then Phil was helping to implement it. And then he implemented it in LA. He implemented the triangle in LA as well. But yeah. That's why him and Wade couldn't work. I mean, him and Wade did work though, Black Ma. They won 2 championships though. Dwayne got older, and Wade's body started breaking down at the end of that Miami Heat run. Now they didn't work that first year because I think LeBron got into his own head and like froze up on that big stage that time. He got into his own head. But I mean, Wade won 2 championships, so that ain't saying it didn't work. It worked. You feel me? His body started breaking down at the end of his tenure. At the end of LeBron's tenure with Miami, Wade's body started breaking down. Yeah, they didn't win those 6, 7, 8. And LeBron shouldn't have said that because it's not easy to win NBA championships. It's just not. You got great players on other teams, and you got coaches that game plan around trying to stop him in particular, which is still hard to stop him. But mentally, I think LeBron was letting all of that noise from Skip Bayless and them get into his head, and he froze up in that first championship. That second year is a different dude. That game 6 against Boston, I'm always going to remember that because everything's on the line. If he lose that game, if they lose against Boston that series, LeBron legacy is completely different. He had 45 points and 15 rebounds that game. That showed he got to a different level at that point. And at that point, it wasn't nothing nobody could do with him. And I think he knew it. I think he knew it wasn't nothing nobody could do with him at all. So, yeah. Oh man, yeah. Bron was the dominant ball handler for sure. He did, yeah. I'm thinking you saying it didn't work, like they didn't win or something. They're like, what? Yeah. But Bron was the dominant ball handler for sure. What you saying? LeBron wasn't mature enough to win? Nah, it wasn't. I don't think he wasn't. The maturity didn't matter. They didn't have the pieces to beat the Boston Celtics at all. Nor were they constructed to beat my Orlando. Well, I'm gonna say this. Orlando was hitting so many threes, bro. And then Dwight Howard was having his way against Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Anderson Varejao. LeBron averaged 38 a game. 38 a game for that series in Orlando, against Orlando. And it wasn't enough. He would have had to average about 45 a game for them to win. The games was really close. He would have had to average about 43 a game for them to win that series. He averaged 38 a game. Orlando had pure shooters. Mikel Petrus, they had Hedo Turkoglu, Rashard Lewis. They were shooting it up. And even Jameer was never no three-point shooter. Jameer was hitting threes. You like, what the fuck? Like, it was just crazy. And then you had Dwight abusing Anderson Varejao and Zydrunas Ilgauskas. They could not do nothing with Dwight. Nothing with him. So it didn't matter what LeBron did. They like, yo, I don't think LeBron could have won in Cleveland their first stint. Not at all. I don't think I'm sorry, y'all. They it was no. Mm-mm. Yeah, they went backwards after making the finals. D Wade before Bron was legit in the conversation as the best two-way player in the league. It's like people forget it. Yeah, of course. Nobody forget that. Wade is the one. Wade, the third greatest shooting guard of all time. Yeah, he did. Wade went crazy. He did. And they lost because LeBron froze up. That's why they lost. Listen, Rashard Lewis and Ray Allen in Seattle was crazy. Golden State broke their record for the most three-pointers in the season. That year they had Rashard Lewis, Ray Allen, Vladimir Radmanovich, Luke Rittenauer. Who else they had on their team? I feel like Chris Wilcox might have been on that team. Who else is on that team? Yeah. Nah, ain't know if he to go. You know, because Michael Jordan didn't win against the Boston Celtics. He put up 63 and they still got swept. Right? The Bulls were not, they didn't have enough to beat them goons. You feel me? They did not have enough to beat them goons. He got Scottie Pippen. Scottie, that was some great help for him, great assistance. Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant. Some great assistance for him. You feel me? Michael Jordan, he was losing against the Detroit Pistons. You feel me? He was losing against the Detroit Pistons. Well, why they lost then? You saying why did they lose against the Boston and them and Detroit? Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying was that the point I'm trying to make is that Chicago, the Bulls are outmatched, man. Similar to Cleveland. Cleveland was outmatched against Boston Celtics. I watched LeBron go head to head with Paul Pierce. LeBron put up 47, 45. They still losing the game by 2 and 3 points. Because guess what? They ain't got nobody else coming to hoop with him. Sasha Pavlovich now? Sasha Pavlovich, Boobie Gibson, Larry Hughes. Now, he ain't what? He playing against Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. What? And he putting up 45 against them. 47. And it still ain't enough. He put up 39. It's still not enough to beat them boys. You feel me? So, yeah, Cleveland was outmatched against them dudes. They was never going to beat them boys. It didn't matter how mature LeBron was. They was not going to beat the Boston Celtics. He would have had to get 60 for them to beat them. 60. Yeah, he disappeared against Dallas. He didn't disappear against some other teams I'm telling you about. He balled out. It just wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he was never going to be Boston in their prime. In them years, in their early years being put together, he was never going to beat the Boston Celtics. I don't care. You could put Giannis on that team. They was never going to put it. You could put Kobe Bryant on that Cleveland Cavaliers team. He would not have beat the Boston Celtics on that Cleveland Cavaliers team. He could not have beat them. No. Because unlike Big Z, Pau Gasol could defend athletic bigs very well. He rebounded very well. Big Z was not a great rebounder at all. If you was athletic, you were a problem for him. Big Z was getting like 7 rebounds a game at 7 feet tall. That is crazy. LeBron was damn near getting 7 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? Powell could get 20 points, You feel me? He can get you 20, 19, he can get you 20, 22, 23, you know? You know what, too, though, bro? You said MJ led them dudes to be better, and that's the difference. So you saying you one of them individuals that think Michael Jordan made Scottie Pippen in so many words? Now, so the first year they won. Who did they beat that first year? Was that first year they won? Who did they beat in the finals? LA? Was that the Lakers? Yeah, Lakers, right? Yeah, Lakers. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. How I was told, it was that Scottie Pippen was guarding Magic Johnson. Is that true? This is how it was told to me. I don't know because I wasn't living. Was Scottie guarding Magic Johnson? Right. So you had somebody to neutralize Magic as best as possible, right? Um, he said it's over exaggerated. He didn't shut him down. Yeah, you can't shut down great players. I don't think you're gonna shut down no great player. Uh, I would say though, said Lakers was deep as hell. Yeah, for sure. If you watch the rest of the series, they took turns on Magic. Okay. Yeah, I never watched the series. That's just how I was told, like I said, because I wasn't even alive. But versus teammates, man. I know Mike was always by far the leading scorer. Like Mike averaged 37 a game in his in a season, which that is incredible. First year he averaged 28 a game. And I think that first year, the second best player on the team was Orlando Woolridge. But yeah, averaging 28 a game your first year is incredible, especially during that NBA. That NBA at that time. And he was supremely efficient. Supremely efficient. Which is why I feel like people be saying Kobe Bryant is close to Michael Jordan. I don't think that's even close. Michael Jordan was much more efficient than Kobe being Bryant. He said Magic was killing Jordan in the post. So yeah, Magic's, yeah, I can imagine he was. Big game James Worthy. Uh he thought about Will Purdue was the original Proud Gasol. Hey, cut it out, Rap God Reloaded. Cut it out. Magic had about 40 pounds on MJ. Yeah, Magic was 6'9" too. So Kobe was shooting his team out the game. Yeah, it was games that Kobe did do that for sure. Like I said, Kobe was the second greatest difficult shot maker I had ever seen in my life, behind Steph Curry. But when he was off, and he would shoot you out of games too. So he could shoot you into some games, and he could shoot you out of them as well. So that's what came with him. He'll shoot you into some games, he'll shoot you out of some. Michael didn't have nobody helping him. He dropped 16 to 7 with a headache and no help. I mean, and that's the point I'm making, Corey, right? You need help to beat certain teams. And the point I'm making is that LeBron James was never going to beat the Boston Celtics with KG, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, when the second best player on his team was Zydrunas Ilgauskas. That he was never going to beat them with Zydrunas Ilgauskas as the second best player on his team. Well, even Anton Jameson, for that matter, at that point. But he was never going to beat them like that. Yeah, but 2 Cents is right, though. That version of the NBA was role player based. At that point, bro, having it was only one 20-point per game scorer on a team at that point. Having two dudes on a team score 20 points on a not only, I'm not gonna say it was only that, it was rare to have two dudes getting 20 points on one team at that point in the NBA. Two dudes averaging a dub, that was really like, that was rare. Rare. The one dude to be averaging 20 plus, the second best dude normally was averaging 18 a game, something like that. 18, 19. Two dudes getting 20 a game was rare as hell. You got two dudes averaging a dub, you was onto some shit there, boy. You had two dudes averaging a dub. That was not prevalent. You know what I'm saying? The second best player on the team, was averaging like 18 points a game, something like that. So yeah, NBA was just much different. The talent was much more spread out across different franchises. You know what I mean? So you just was not having an overload of a whole lot of offensive talent on one squad per se like that. I mean, you had offensive talent, don't get me wrong. But two 20-point scorers on one team was just rare, I feel like, at that point. Scotty would be an okay to good player had he not had Mike. You think he would have just been okay though? I don't, again, I wasn't living during that time, but I would think, man, a dude who came from Central Arkansas, NAIA school, would eventually got it together. You know what I'm saying? I think a dude that came from that school and was a top pick would have eventually got it together. Yeah, he might have been a little shell shocked a little bit coming to the NBA, small town country boy that went to a very small school. But I think Scotty would have got it together though. Said Scotty is mentally weak, bro. I think Scotty is going through a lot of things in his personal life, man, to be honest with you. Which is why I let Scotty ride with a lot of the stuff he be saying a lot of times. Even though I talk about it and I disagree with things Scotty say, and I say Scotty tripping, but I also take into the account that Scotty lost his son a few years ago. Scotty had his wife running around with rappers and young ball players. Then she was running around with Mike's son. I think something is going on with Scotty personally, man. I think Scotty got some stuff with him that he still has not recovered from. Now you're right, he chose that wife. I'm not disagreeing with that sentiment. He chose that wife. You're right. I just don't think he thought that wife would be. And I mean, a lot of men don't think that, right? I don't think he thought that wife would do some stuff that she's done, because I didn't see her talking to Marcus Jordan. That was just crazy, you know? He said Scotty was busy 7 to 10 times a day, apparently. Oh, maybe that's why Scotty was having back problems. I don't know. They said Future broke Scotty mentally. I don't know, but Future was antagonizing Scotty, blowing kisses under Larsa Pippen pictures and shit like that. It's just like, man. And then the TMZ paparazzi was seen because Scotty was walking with Larsa when they was trying to reconcile. He was walking somewhere from dinner or something with her, and the TMZ paparazzi caught them together, and they was like, but Scotty, what about Future? What about Future? And Scotty turned around and was like, really? Really? He said, LeBron is definitely fake pro-black, hopping on those white man podcasts instead of the black ones. Well, I'm going to say this, man. I do believe LeBron needs to visit some black podcasts for sure. I think he will go to Shannon Sharp podcast when he's done playing and give Shannon like a Cat Williams type interview. I think he will go to Draymond's podcast for sure. He done been on Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye's podcast. I think him going on Pat McAfee's podcast was more about the fact that Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith got some little weird tension with each other, and the fact that Pat is on ESPN. So I think he wanted to use an ESPN counterpart to get at Stephen A. Right? And also, I think about this too. Had he went on a black man's podcast or a black person's podcast and talked about another black man, you would have had people also feeling like, oh, you went on a black person podcast to trash another black person. So, you can't win for losing with that, But I do think he should do some black podcasts for sure, though. He said, man, let's be real. We all know men like him in our lives, dudes who allow women to play with them. I understand we can't make women do anything, but we can recognize signs and act accordingly. I mean, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I don't know, because when I look at Larsa seemed like a grown kid. And so I think Scotty was cool with that as long as she was staying within her bubble with him and just being a wife that, he can sex on when he get home, that can cook him some meals and, have some kids with him. He was cool, as long as she stayed in that bubble, even though she seems very childish in mindset. Because she was running around with the Kardashians, like, it's like a 40-some-year-old, in her late 40s. And I'm looking like, is she having a midlife crisis? Like, she running around trying to be a Kardashian. And I think Scotty was cool with all of that, and as long as she was like, keeping to herself and staying in his bubble and just being his wife, and that he can come home and make love to and all of that, he was cool with it. And then he said, exactly, why are you hanging with the Kardashian? Yeah, I feel like I'm like, what is she trying to hang with them for? Like, it just, yeah. And I think Scotty really didn't care as long as he felt like he could keep her in her bubble. The moment he felt like she was stepping out of that bubble, which would happen, as much as I felt like Larsa was going through like a midlife, like she was trying to be young. She was trying to be young again. And trying to be young again and trying to be like young folks trying to act like a girl in their early 20s, it's going to lead to infidelity more than likely. It's going to lead to some wild stuff happening. It's going to lead to you trying to run around with young rappers and young hoopers. That's what a 20-some-year-old young girl would do, right? A lot of them, at least, you know what I'm saying? Some of them, and so, especially the ones in Kardashian limelight. He said MJ won 6 rings with a dude who thinks like that. Debate over. Because they don't have nothing to do with personal lives, right? I've seen dudes be with women who obviously were not for them, but were dogs on the field, though. So those are two separate things, though, Black Mall. Like, we've seen men be dominant on the field and be church mice at home because they're comfortable in that arena. So I don't think they got to do. You can be a dog on the field and be at home thinking very like silly, That has happened before. He said, I'm talking Ishmael. So I know you talking crazy. Yeah. Yeah, man. So to be fair though, 2 Cents, Larsa was talking to Malik Beasley before Scotty got on the Lakers. She was dealing with him before he got into the league. But even within that though, 2 Cents, you running around with young rappers knowing your son is a young collegiate athlete. Can you imagine how Scottie Pippen Jr. would feel when his teammates is bumping Future's music? All in the locker room. Athletes listen to nothing but Future. Future in black locker rooms with basketball and football and black sports, like was in sports where black folks are the dominant, predominantly make up the teams. Nothing but Future is being played in the locker room and at these college parties. Can you imagine how Scottie Pippen Jr. was feeling knowing your mama is sneaking off with this rapper on your daddy? And they keep playing this. Everywhere you go, you can't escape Future's music. Your mama is running around with him, trying to be his personal little floozy. And you was out here like that. You can't escape his music, nothing. I know. I felt so bad for little Scotty, though. Like, I really did. I'm not even trying to be funny. I felt bad for him. And I say he's very mentally tough. To ball out the way he did, knowing your mama around here trying to be a young hot girl and she is almost 50 years old, she trying to be a hot girl and you out here, And you out here you trying to make a career out of this basketball stuff. Scottie Pippen Jr. is very mentally tough. Cause that would have broke a lot of people, man. That would have broke a lot of people, man. That would have, like, for real. You, especially as a young man. Scottie was like 19, 20. You know? So yeah, man, I can only imagine that. He said this is the same woman who taught Scottie Pippen his ABC tie his shoes. He most likely grew up seeing his BS. Yeah, but I think it's a little different when it's a famous athlete and it's publicized, right? A famous rapper. Like a famous one that your generation is listening to. Like if your mama messing with Drake and she messing with Drake on your daddy, she messing around on your daddy with Drake. Like, can you imagine how that would feel? Like, you can't escape Drake music. You know what I'm saying? When Drake is talking about messing with these women and cashing out on them and effing them every type of way, you sitting in there listening to the song. Is he talking about my mama? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can only imagine how that would feel, though. So, yeah, man, I gotta give credit to Lil Scotty, man. Lil Scotty was out here balling through that, cause I was like, boy, I'd have been ready to crash out. You know, he going to different arenas, people saying stuff about his mama in the crowd. I know he probably wanted to go and slap some folks, you know, but it takes a certain mindset to have to push through that. Cause I'd have been at the games like, what? Soon as somebody say something, what? I'm in there talking crazy back. Cause that's just, you know, that's your first, I think it's a lot of people's first instinct to respond like that. Yeah, then she running around with Marcus Jordan. Marcus out here sniffing yayo. He probably was sniffing yayo out of her butt crack. That's what I heard happened on that movie Wolf of Wall Street. I heard he was sniffing cocaine out of a girl butt crack. Marcus probably was doing that with Larsa. And you know, you running around without my dad's old teammate's son. Like, man, what is we doing? You know, so I could only imagine how the young dude felt. He probably like, damn, man, this is my mama, man. This is my mama. Look at what this is going on, man. Yeah, I felt for him, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I felt for him. I was like, man, ain't that about a bench? He's over there sniffing butt crack before lunch. That's what Marcus was doing. Shoot. Marcus out here wilding out. And I ain't talking about Nick Cannon wilding out either. Yeah, but yeah, you know. I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Man, I'd have been on here really 2 hours. That is crazy. I'd have been on here 2 hours. And Marcus, darling. Lady Eloise. Shout out to Boomerang, man. Shout out to Boomerang. Bryce about to marry a snow bunny. I thought Bryce was dating what's old girl's name, man? Um Sally Richardson. I thought Bryce and Bronny was dating Sally Richardson's daughter. Maybe not anymore. I'm not sure. But I thought that was what was going on. God, he's in the same dude who refused to go in the playoff game. And then Phil Jackson. Now, Phil might be racist now, Black Mom. I'm with you, though. Refusing to go in a playoff game is crazy. That's wild. You know what I'm saying? I get you want the last shot. I get you want the shot to be yours, but you still got to go into the game, though. So I'm with you on that. But Phil Jackson, I think Phil is racist, though. I think Phil got some racist bones all up in him now, especially over the years. When you've heard some stuff he said, I'm like, oh, Scotty might have been on him. Scotty on to something now. Scotty is on. I think people tried to act like Phil. We wanted to give Phil the benefit of the doubt because he was the Zen master and he was this hippie dude that smoked weed and all of that. So I don't know why black people think white folks that smoke weed is just the coolest people in the world. We think white folks is real weed smokers. We think they just, for some reason, we just attribute that to them being just all for black folks and because he has some black superstars on his team. But when you heard stuff that Phil has said about black folks, and that's what I'm talking about. I've heard certain things he said in that book, Black Mile, certain excerpts I've read from that book that he said. Then talking about LeBron got his posse of people and all of that. When he talking about Rich Paul and them, calling it his posse, all of that. But then it was certain things he said about black men, though, in general, certain players and all of that. Certain stuff that even when he talked about there's no need for political stances and being woke in sports. Phil has said shit like that recently. There's no need being woke in sports. Don't go together and all that type of stuff and political. Keep politics out of my sports and all. He's really, because when people get older, they don't care about you telling you who they really are when they get older. When they get in their 70s and 80s and 60s, late 60s, they don't care about being a true self. So yeah, Phil shaded Kobe bad in that book. Yeah, he talked about Kobe, and what he talking about, like his leadership or like him shooting too much and all that type of stuff he says, certain stuff about Kobe. Phil, yeah, man. And when you see how Phil was handling Carmelo Anthony and certain stuff Phil was doing, yeah. Phil done said some stuff where you like, oh yeah. You probably the descendants of some Klansmen. You might have descended from some Klansmen, I'm sure. Now, Rose Ball, I do agree though. It was times where Kobe was doing a whole lot. And it was times where he was doing too much shooting. So that two things could be true. You feel me? Phil definitely made comments about how Kobe having a father shocked him, how uncoachable. He said that. Oh, see, Rap God and Black Maul, y'all saying the same things. Phil was talking about black men not having fathers made them uncoachable. Is that what he said, Phil? Rap God and Black Maul? Was he insinuating that black men not having fathers made them uncoachable at times? Got you. That sound real George Carl-ish. You know George Carl. He was saying all type of stuff about J.R. Smith and Kenyon Martin and all of them in his book, and Carmelo Anthony, about how they needed fathers in their life. And then not having fathers made them not receptive to authority and all of that type of stuff. And Kobe had a dad, so him being difficult to coach shocked him. What if he meant fathers are needed? I don't think he phrased it like that, Rose Ball. Right. And see, there's exactly talking to Grubman. It's people that think JR didn't have his father in his life. JR not even from the hood, bro. He just assumed JR didn't have no father. He assumed JR was this hood booger just because JR got tattoos and JR probably smoked. JR has said, I am not from the hood. I grew up in a very nice area. My dad worked very well. His name is Earl Smith Jr. Earl Smith Jr. is his name. Is where JR come from. His dad is a real cool dude. You feel me? Now, Carmelo's father died when Melo was young, very young, like 3 or 4 or something like that. But yeah, JR praised his father in the press conference. He assumed JR didn't have no dad. He assumed JR didn't have no dad in his life because JR had tattoos. And, you know, he just said that. And like I said, JR not even from the hood. He'll tell y'all that. He's like, I'm not. People just think I am because of his bravado on the court. He's like, no, I'm not. My people, I had family that was living there, but I wasn't. When you look at JR's life, JR got a really interesting story. JR went back to school, all of that type of stuff, doing well in school. He had struggled. He struggled in school. I think JR had dyslexia. I think he suffered from dyslexia, which led to him having problems in school, so on and so forth. And exactly 2 cents. Dudes like George Karl and Phil Jackson are from a different generation. They saw the league transitioning black and unapologetically black, and they felt uncomfortable with it. They didn't like Allen Iverson wearing chains and do-rags because Michael Jordan and them didn't do that, right? They didn't like the athletes dressing like rappers. That was not what they were accustomed to. Michael Jordan threw the Kango on and had a hoop earring in. And he was dressing like Ahmad Rashad. Him and Ahmad Rashad was dressing like, you know, dudes from 80s sitcoms and all of that. But Michael Jordan was listening to Anita Baker before games. Phil saw dudes listening to rap music heavily. You know what I mean? He saw AI and them coming in there, again, dressed like black men from the neighborhoods, and he got uncomfortable with that. White men like Phil Jackson, older white men, they felt like that made them uneasy. Seeing black men carry themselves like in that bravado, unapologetically, that was very off-putting to them. Yeah, he was. Hold on, what y'all talking about? Yeah. He had the big one hoop in his ear. You feel me? Mike was listening to Anita Baker and stuff. Yeah, Anita got some fire. She does. I love Anita Baker, right? But Mike wasn't listening to the rap that we would listen to, you know. Yeah, I'm shocked I'm on this long too, Kid Car. I'm usually not on this long. But you know, I don't work today and I'm chilling, I'm feeling good. So I say, what the heck? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, back when two earrings or an earring on the wrong side signified being gay. That's facts. You had two earrings in your ear, but the earring was in the wrong ear, they thought you was gay. Crazy is his attire off the court. Oh, Michael Jordan attire is atrocious. Oh, it's horrendous. Oh, I like the Kango though. I like the Kango and the hoop earring. That's cool. But when he started putting on them big old jeans, them big bell bottom looking jeans, and the Mary J. Blige boots, that's when I be like, all right, come on, Mike. You on your 15? Oh man, my guy, man. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in with me on your break, man. See, again, I like the Kango. I like the Kango, had the hoop earring. That's cool. I like that. But when he got older in them 2000s with them big old jeans and them dang on Mary J. Blige boots. Mike, get that hippity hop nonsense up out of here. That's what MJ said. That hippity hop nonsense. He did them last dance fits. Hey, you know Nori said, yeah, you saw MJ grabbing all up on Mary J. Blige, and Mary J. Blige was letting them do it too. But she was telling Tyrese them, don't be grabbing her like that, you know. But yeah, but when Mike was younger, I liked the Mike with the gold chains on his neck and the hoop earring and the Kango. Him and Ahmad, when he was dressing, you know, Ahmad Rashad was an older, sleek looking black man. Cause that's how Jalen Hurts dressed like Ahmad Rashad to this day. That's who Jalen Hurts be dressing like. That's cool. That's cool to me. That's cool. We're doing big old jeans, and that'd be like, all right, Mike. Mike be gabbing on bell bottoms. Yeah, oh, you know. And you know, do you know Mike don't even be wearing Jordans? He be wearing, he be wearing big old jeans with Stacey Adams shoes on. He don't even be wearing Jordans. He don't be wearing his own shoe. He be wearing Stacey Adams. MJ the type of dude who jeans be baggy with the crease. MJ still putting starch on his jeans. Jeans be so starched up you can sit them up in the corner by themselves and walk away. MJ probably still putting starch on them. What was the name of the starch brands we used to put on jeans? The starch. What was the name of the starch? Boy, I used to be putting starch on my jeans, make that crease, and I used to have them crease in my jeans. That was the thing to do, had a crease in your pants, boy. Godly. Woo! MJ was swagged out in Barcelona. What he have on in Barcelona? I ain't see. You had that starch on your jeans. Sit your jeans up in a corner, walk away. For real, jeans be stiff as a board, boy. I don't know why that was the thing. I don't know why. But I used to do that too. When I was about 10, 11, I was doing my jeans like that. Faultless spray start. Faultless spray start. Yeah. Boy, I was 10, 11, putting crease in my jeans with the starch on there. At 10 and 11 years old. This is a crazy era, man. Crazy era. This is like 2003. I was wilding out, but that was the thing to do. He said MJ was styling in the 80s. I don't know what happened after that. Yeah, I don't know either, because I liked his fashion I liked when he was dressing with the hoop and the Kangos and all of that. The hoop earring and the Kangos. I don't know if he got older and felt like, all right, now it's enough of that hippity hop. It's enough of that hippity hop nonsense. Remember, Nori said he heard Michael Jordan say F rap one day at a party. He said like Method Man or somebody when it was Red Man or somebody was trying to take pictures with him. It might say, man, F rap. Man, you got no time for no rappers. No, none of that hippity hop. None of that hippity hop, hoppity hip BS. Like say, when I'm getting older, I'm going to dress like an old man supposed to dress. 4X jeans. Might be dressing like he wears size 52 in jeans in his waist. My grandfather was in the service. He used to watch us and make us starch all of our clothes when we were ironing them. I miss that. Man, rest in peace to your grandfather, man. Rest in peace to your grandfather. Mike told comedian, I'll take no picture with no N-words. Oh, pictures. I don't take no pictures with no N-words. I tell you what, if you pay $20,000 to buy one of my jerseys, then I'll take a picture with you. Then I'll take a picture with you. Oh my God. I know so many dudes that would have stole off Michael Jordan right then, right there. Now they would have went to jail if they stole on Mike, and Mike would have sued them. And Mike's security would have stomped them out if they stole off Mike. But I know some dudes that would have took that risk if Michael Jordan would have said that to them. I know some dudes that would have taken that risk all the way if Mike would have came at them like that. You ain't take no picture, no N-words. Take no picture with no N-words. Hey, when you see comedian that acted out, comedian that you say, what? Oh, hell no. Comedian that said, Mike say, what? Oh man, hell no. I ain't take no picture with no N-words. the way he said Mike said, the way he said Mike said, hell no. I would have had to whoop Michael Jordan ass, man. Would have had to whoop Mike ass, man. What? Who are you talking to? Say, hey, I never said Mike was the best human being, just the best basketball player. Yeah, I got him number one too, Black Mall. But that MF, he is a MFer. You got to whoop Mike ass to be around him. I don't see how Mike got a lot of friends like that. If you don't show Mike you can whoop his ass, I don't know how you could be friends with him. I thought this was disrespectful. I remember Mike was on TV with Charles Barkley on Oprah, and he kept on rubbing Charles Barkley's stomach to insinuate Charles was fat. And I'm like, hey, I don't like no shit like that, dog. That's like them older black people that love to remind you you gain weight over the years. You know, an older black person, they love telling you fat every single time. Every single time, they love telling you that. And when he was on the Oprah show, this is when he was still married to Juanita. This is about 04, 03 or something like that, 05 maybe. And Mike sitting there kept rubbing on Charles Barkley's stomach on TV. I'd have told him, hey man, stop touching me. Stop. Like, I don't know how. He said him and Steve Kerr got cool after Steve Kerr stole off him. So you might be right with that theory, Mac. Yeah, see, but I don't like that though, because that's bullying though. Like, come on, that's bullying. You Mike trying to hoe everybody. And then like, boy, no, I don't like that. Especially if you ain't gonna do that to Oakley, or you're not gonna do it to Bill Cartwright. Don't be trying to sit here and do it to the little skinny little white dude over here in the corner. You feel me? I don't like that. Mike be trying to hoe everybody. That's how he do. Telling Kwame Brown every time he saw Kwame, what's up, ho? That's how Gilbert Arenas said that's how he used to address Kwame Brown every time he saw Kwame. And I'm like, ain't no way in hell you finna be calling me that. I'm just, what? We're gonna have to go fight in the back somewhere. Like, we're gonna have to. We ain't gotta have no cameras around. I'm gonna have to fight you. And I'm probably gonna keep fighting you. If I don't win, I'm gonna keep fighting you till I win. You know what I'm saying? I remember Bill threatened to break Mike. Yeah, Bill Cartwright wasn't playing that. Yeah, telling Horace Grant, you ain't played well enough to eat. Telling us, told the stewardess on the plane. Does that say more about Mike or the men who went for that BS though, man? I think it says more about Mike. I'm gonna be real with you, Black. Because I'm gonna tell you about the type of person that I am. I've been in position in life to have stuff. I've been in a position in life to I could have talked down on people. I could have talked to men like they was little, like I could have little boy dudes. And I didn't do that because it's not in my personality to treat people like that. Especially when you haven't done anything to me. Right? And Mike, it says a lot about Mike that he liked to do that to other men. Because every man, unfortunately, Black Ma, every man is not cut out for confrontation like that. Unfortunately, even when they're getting sunned, you have some men who don't come from that. Right? Black Ma, me and you not going for that BS. Right? But we come from probably two different types walks of life than certain other men. Right? We probably been around people who've instilled in us not to take that BS from other people. It's some people that don't grow up like that, who didn't grow up, you know what I'm saying? Like having to like deal with, it's people that probably didn't even have to deal with certain type of people like that growing up. In Chicago, I had to deal with men like that. I had to show men I wasn't no hoe. Oh no, like for real, I had to do that here. Because confrontation is inevitable here. It's inevitable here, right? Like my own mama would tell me, don't let nobody punk you. You feel me? Because we was growing up in harsh environments where it would be dudes who would try to get that off, right? I'm sure same in DC. But it's some men who never was growing up in them type of environment. So running into Mike was the first time they ran into that. Them dudes probably was the best players on their teams and the best athletes in their school. And typically when you the best athletes in your school, you ain't dealing with that. You the best athlete in college, you ain't dealing with that because you get admiration because you a great athlete. When you get to the pros and you got Pantheon great players, that's when that type of stuff comes into play. And if you never had to deal with that, it's some men that don't know how to handle that type of stuff because they've never had to deal with somebody abusing power and punking them. And Mike was wrong for that. Mike was wrong for that. because he saw men he could do that to, and he exploited it. You feel me? How I was raised, my daddy didn't raise me to hoe other men until that man try to hoe you. Then we gonna go to that level. That's how my father didn't raise me to do that. I wasn't raised to try to. That wasn't the spirit that was. That spirit was not put on my. That's not a spirit I was put on. You feel me? So like, I'm not naturally an aggressive person, even though I grew up in a very aggressive environment. My spirit is not naturally aggressive. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? You see me smiling a lot in a rough in rough neighborhoods, bro. This is all who I always been this. So, and because of me smiling a lot and all of that, you had people thinking it was something that it was not. But again, I was willing to fight. I was willing to show that I was not no punk. You know what I'm saying? But that's because I knew in the environment I was growing up in, it was no escaping it. Like it was not like I couldn't just go in a house and because I had to go to the store. I had to get on the bus to go to school. So I knew I had to like approach that whole stuff differently because I couldn't escape it. But somebody like Kwame Brown, he grew up in a small town. In a small town, Kwame was the best athlete in a small town. Everybody know everybody. Everybody know, you know what I'm saying? So he ain't had to deal with that probably until he ran into Michael Jordan. Now here's the problem I got with Kwame Brown. Because Kwame will get on here and act like, hold on, y'all, hold on. Hey, my bad, y'all. I'm finna have to get off in a minute. But yeah, my problem was that Kwame would all that stuff happened to him, Michael Jordan punking him, all of that. All that Mike was doing, and he never did nothing back. But now he wanna against LeBron James, he wanna act like he this alpha male. Like he's this big alpha male now. And I'll be like, don't be on here faking a funk. You still scared to say something to Michael Jordan to this day. Don't be out here trying to act like you tough now. Mike was holding you back then and you too scared to say something to him now. And then you trying to present yourself as this alpha male when you was getting your card pulled to this back then. And then you still don't want to say nothing to Mike. You still scared to say something to Mike. Currently, you're still scared to say something to Mike as a grown man. You want to direct your aggression towards LeBron James, a man who has done nothing to you and has said nothing bad about you. That's why I get like, all right, Kwame, come on, man. It's ridiculous. Come on. But anyway, y'all, man, I got to get off this thing. I got to get my son ready to go with my mom's, man. I'm going to holler at y'all a little later. And I'm going to come back on here, y'all. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Peace.